First of all, good afternoon, everybody. We are teaching at the School of Architecture in the University of A Coruña. This is in the northwest of Spain. And we did a research about differences between the analogic and digital access to the information, talking about architecture, talking about the information that architects and students of architecture needs. Anyway, as Vicente, my colleague, speaks English much better than me, he will do the presentation. So Vicente, when you want, please.
Well, this is the title of the paper we presented and published in this special issue. We would like to thank for this idea regarding education, because we believe it is quite important in our work as academics in the university. Personally, I have been researching for 6 or 7 years in themes related to education. Well, as Antonio already said, he is a professor and I'm a lecturer at the University of A Coruña. And this research was carried out in this university with 170 students, undergraduate students of the degree of architecture. There are several differences between the study of architecture in Spain and other countries, because normally it's more related with fine arts, and here it has also a big part of technical content. But all of this is already explained in the manuscript. The panorama of the access to information have changed a lot in the last 20 years, but more in the last 10 years. And the existing bibliography or references in books and research papers has focused on this in the early 80s or in the early 90s. So it was when the digital environment was not the same one that it's today. On the left, you can see something similar what we can access in a book or in a journal or magazine of architecture. And on the right, you can see an image of what a blog or an image-based social network would be. If I can ask to anyone, maybe everyone would like to see the second one, because it has more striking images or shocking images that that are pleasant to the viewer. However, they are presenting normally biased information. Meanwhile, the books and the magazines have extra details, constructive and technical details, information related to the theory or the idea of the building. So the hypothesis was that the students were just, or in majority, accessing to this kind of information, the one in the right. So there was no, as I said before, there was no empirical evidence regarding this fact. So the first thing we had to do was to look for this, but we wanted to also try to explain why this information-seeking behavior happens and what were they related with. So, well, this was the explanation. Most research related to information-seeking behavior in architecture dates back to the 1980s. This is just one explanation regarding why Coruña or this university was good in order to carry this kind of a study, because it's the first one in Spain, in all the country, in the relation with volumes of books and papers and magazines in the library per student. So there is no excuse that they have a good library in the School of Architecture. And at the same time, other fact important what was the presence of really good examples of architecture in the surroundings, because it's an important source of information also that we will have taken into account. We developed the AAIQ scale, which had several items regarding frequency of access to information, direct contact with architecture, which is related with the thing I said just now regarding to visiting architecture, drawing architecture, the importance of the type of information they were looking for, the search purpose, and the usefulness of the information according to the source. As we have 3 minutes and we are not going to talk about each one, it's everything in the paper, but we carried out ANOVA variance analysis, multiple linear regression analysis, and some things that were evidenced was that the younger the students, the less they read, and the younger the students, the most they use Instagram or image-based social networks, which we had already said they are biased information. Most of the previous research said and talked about the complementary approach of digital information and analog information. The problem is students are not using them in a complementary way. These are results of the multiple linear regression. Just to summarize a couple of things is that we also evidenced that these seeking behaviors are related to somehow to the outcome in several subjects in the school. The results are coherent with the kind of purpose of each of these subjects. For example, this one, an architectural shape analysis is related with the student draw when they travel. Okay, this is a kind of subject which is more related with hand sketching drawing. We also compare if this happened because students think or don't think if this is important, but well, there's a mistake here. They believe with no doubt that the most important are books, however, is the one that they less access to. And on the other hand, they know that Instagram is not a good source of information. However, on the contrary, it's the one they use the most to carry out tasks at the university. And this is oversimplification, trivializes information which favors the design by analogy process occurring at one of the most elementary levels. They are not already professionals. They are learning to be a professional in architecture, and they are learning to develop a project. A project or the process to project could be related to design by analogy, and design by analogy could be defined by several levels. If they just can visualize the aesthetical result of a project they see on Instagram, they will be copying this result, but they will not understand the idea and the concept and the theory behind the project. And this should be everything we prepare for the presentations, and thank you very much.